All right, guys. Today we are going to be reacting to Andrew Dismantles this feminist claim about body count. Let's jump in.
So I made an Instagram poll and asked their age, religion, political background, whatever, to account for all the variables.
Sure.
And like 95% probably said they don't care. It's not a deal breaker. Y'all can go check it out. It's a highlight on my Insta.
This is you should pull it up because I'd like to see how it's phrased.
I said, no, without adding commentary, age, just answer these questions. Age, religion, whatever. Is body count a deal breaker if you're otherwise compatible, which is what we discussed last time.
If you're otherwise, okay. So everything is good except you 1,000 guys.
Yeah.
Okay. So and they said that that's not a deal breaker.
Very few people cared. Y'all should pull it up.
So.
And that's what I was arguing last time. And I think it should be, actually, for multiple reasons. And I can go over
They're trying to get laid. That's what it is. They're trying to get laid. That's what it is. They're trying to get laid by lying to her.
So you think that we should raise awareness that you should be asking women their body counts more?
I don't think there's a reason. I don't think it's negative in any way, too.
Yeah. So then I agree with you that there are far too many men who are willing to accept women with really high body counts. It's absolutely revolting to me, some of the numbers that I've heard from women, where I'm just like, I don't even know how you get out of bed.
Well, actually, we were just talking about this. I'm like, how that? Because last time I was on here, I think the comedian chick said like 300 or something. I was like, how?
Because she walks around with a mattress strapped to her back.
Like, literally, what are you doing? But I think it's the same for men because the physiological effects are the same. You're still more likely to have STDs. You're still down-regulating your dopamine and oxytocin receptors. It is true.
The STD thing, it's not true.
Because women can't get HPV?
No, women are more susceptible to STDs, just for anatomical reasons. But on top of that, there is another differential here.
With gay men?
Hold on. Stop. You gotta let me. You can't keep fucking interrupting.
Okay, sorry.
See, Brian, man. I know. Brian's getting a little. Okay, let's see.
In addition to anatomical reasons, women will tend to gravitate towards high-status men. So women are more likely to end up sharing men.
Okay.
Yes, true.
No argument there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if all the girls are trying to fuck Kanye or Chris Brown, who fucked thousands of women,
yeah,
and women are attracted to men of status and all this sort of stuff, the men that women tend to pick when it comes to their promiscuity is they have access to those men.
Yeah, I think that women will tolerate it more.
It's not a put off for these women. Whereas if a man was privy to the fact that a woman's 1,000+ men, no matter her status or her attractiveness level, it's more likely to be a put off.
Well, yeah, I'm not disagreeing on the fact that like the majority of women will accept it more than men will. I'm saying it should be an issue for either sex because of you could still get an STD. You could still have to deal with the other party's dependence. You could.
Well, in that case, what she's saying is true in the sense that you can get an STD. You should not be just knocking people out left and right, right? That's a good point. However, in my opinion, building as a man having a lot of body counts, it means that you have to build a skill. Skills is basically, it's a way of just telling women that you're confident, right? You have something to show to the world. So and somehow they like that. And also, remember, guys, pre-selection. Pre-selection is so important. If you're effing a lot of girls, right, that means that somehow a lot of women do want your genes. And females tend to be very competitive when it comes down to genes. That's why it's very attractive. Females want competitions. In my opinion.
Still have someone with a avoidant attachment style who can't form proper connections because their, hormones and neuroreceptors are just totally screwed. So I think it should be concerning to either partner, but I'm not saying that it is as much for women as it is men. I think you're right about that.
Okay.
And I think that's silly of women, but it's a thing, yeah.
All right.
Okay. So your position is what?
You think it's silly of women?
Yes.
So I wonder, how does a woman determine a man has status?
Most women probably go for his money, his fame, all the things that he mentioned.
And also, what is considered status for men is beautiful women, right?
Sure.
So the more beautiful women that a woman has banged, it seems obvious to me that if women are going for men of status, that if beautiful women were not going for those men, they would think there was something wrong with them.
Yeah, but
exactly. That's what I said.
That
The pre-selection factor. That's what I said. The pre-selection factor. Pre-selection is basically females sending a signal to the other women that, hey, this is the gene to go after.
I touch the tism where I don't care about like social norms, but like I think what we should value is a man's integrity, his character, his ability to be a good partner for you, not the fact that he's banged a bunch of hot chicks.
But but let's separate these two concepts, the descriptive from the prescriptive, right? Mm-hmm. So I agree with you that people should base things around virtue, right? I agree with that, but they don't. So descriptively, they don't. Doesn't it track that women, if they were looking for men of status, would be looking at men who banged a lot of women?
Well, yeah, I'm not denying that.
Because that would prove that women desire him. That's part of their status, right?
Right, but that's why I said I think it's silly. Like I'm not.
But is it silly? Because because in reverse, that is not the case. It does the exact opposite for women, where men go, oh, well, your status is fucking garbage, right? Because you slept with a lot of men. Yeah. So I'm not sure.
I just think it should be the same.
Well,
I don't think it is.
I love the idea of both parties moving and gravitating towards each other based on virtues, right? I think that that's great. But that is not the case.
Well, yeah, I'm not arguing that it's not.
Yeah. So, I mean, prescriptively, I would agree with you that they should move towards virtues, but they don't. So that if they don't, right, then how can you give the advice to men, for instance, not to do this thing? How can you give them the advice to not do this thing if women will reject them if they don't do the thing? That's my whole thing. That's what I'm wondering.
Well, you shouldn't. Well, I guess it's. Well, you're religious, right?
Yeah.
So you shouldn't base it off of rejection.
Give me a secular argument.
Well, you should base it off of like what the Bible tells you to look for in a partner.
That's a religious argument.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Give me a secular argument, non-religious.
You should care about your sexual health. You should care about your mental health, like all of the things.
Those don't seem to be things which are highly affected.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but just know that there are women like me who don't find it attractive, who the slightest bit of competition turns me off. I don't want anything to do with it. Mm-hmm. Just wait for that person rather than risk all this other shit.
If a guy is really high status, he doesn't give a shit about you. He's going to have tons of women who look like you.
But we're talking about the average Joe, right?
No. In fact,
no, we're not talking about the average Joe.
The opposite. So we're talking about high status men. So Brian's argument. So Brian's argument. No, not just Kanye, right? That's super ultra high status, right? Brian's argument to you is he's saying, look, women seem to move towards men in a smaller group, right? So this is why men end up with thousands of sex partners. Some men, it's because they have access to them, right?
Yeah,
they plainly have access to them.
There's no disagreement there.
But if it is true that it is looked at by women as being odd or weird that women won't go near a guy, right? Because they also perceive that as social status, then how would you actually convince a man who wanted to attract really beautiful women to not have lots of sex with other beautiful women, knowing that that would be descriptively an attractive function for him?
Because there's other attractive functions, and if you want to bang a bunch of beautiful women, then I wouldn't argue that at all, by all means.
No, but it's actually going to lead to banging more beautiful women, right?
Agreed. But are you looking for the one? Or are you looking to bang a bunch
There we go. That's the distant fairy tale right there. Are you looking for the one? A high status man looking for the one. He's looking for anything that he wants. It could be even if he finds the one, he's still going to start banging left and right. That's what these people don't understand. They think that as soon as they locked in that guy, somehow that guy's going to stop. That guy's not going to stop because you met him like that. Not only you met him like that, but you didn't go through the same struggle that he went to get where he was. That's why he will never put up with you. I mean, if he does, you'll be completely how can I say this? Put off. You will not have attraction. You will lose attraction because that was what was attractive in the first place. That ride and emotion tried to keep him. Crazy, right? Like this is. I know very little about psychology, but I'm guessing there's a lot of inside baseball to a lot of these things. I just know very simple pickup artist terminology, and that's it. But outside of that, I'm not a professional. But a lot of these things, I remember late 90s, early 2000s, a lot of these people, they were figuring this thing out. And one of the first things that they figured out was pre-selection. Powerful tool, very powerful.
I mean, what are you going to say to one of these kind of 10%ers or 20% men who are like, oh, gee, well, let's see. I could bang one chick forever, or I could bang tons of hot chicks, and the more hot chicks I bang, the more likely hot chicks are going to let me bang them.
No, I definitely get that
exposed.
mentality.
Yeah. So I'm just
and
like...
if people want to live that way, that's fine.
I've had
hey, she got a little trigger there, huh?
A problem with arguing against this for a long time from a secular perspective. From a religious perspective, it's very clear. But from a non-religious perspective, how the hell are you going to convince men who are banging really, really attractive women, and the more attractive women they bang, seemingly the more attractive women they can bang, it seems to me like it's impossible to convince them otherwise.
And only that, it gets to a point where it's going to be easier for them to be polygamous. Have multiple chicks. The hotter the chicks that you bang, the more likely you will have the opportunity to have multiple chicks as your wife. That's how you get the 2, 3, 4 wives. But you're getting to that point, like females are okay by sharing you because you're that guy, so they're gonna be okay sharing you. And I think this is a moment of realization, folks. This is it.
I mean, you can tell them other things, but it's probably not going to be as big of a deterrent as you would like it to be. But also, it's not my objective as a libertarian. I don't give a shit what anybody does. Like,
no. That's a lazy mentality. I think Andrew might just attack her.
So that's
a libertarian.
That's the closest
so gross
alignment that I can find. Really, I'm like a centrist, but
too much Jordan Peterson. Too much Jordan Peterson.
Maybe it's too much Alex Jones.
Yeah, too much of him too. Okay, so
hey man, what's going on? Shout out to Alex Jones, man. Shout out to Jordan Peterson and Alex Jones. Good people, man. Good people. Let me know what you guys think. I will see you in the next one.